Hello YouTube, Crazy Robot Lady here with another Tiger 2 XL tape. Those of you who are so inclined, please pray for me. I will be flying on a plane for the first time in my life. I know where I'm going, but if I had my druthers, I would rather come back here and film content for you guys than go tumbling from the sky. But anyway, I figured I'd make one more video for you before my trip. So, without further ado, let's join Superman in his native town of Metropolis, where he rescues people and stuff and is disguised as the mild-mannered news reporter Clark Kent. Today's adventure is called A New Hero in Town. So, let's get going. Teddy, rest. Quiet. Down. Uh-oh, hold up. It's not connected? Apparently it's not. My bad. Okay. Take two. And while dealing with this, I will get my dog something to lie upon so that he's not being a total nuisance.
Boody-boo. Oh, hello there. Thanks for turning me on. I was beginning to feel a little lonely. Today, I have an exciting adventure for you. In this program, you will be responsible for guiding Superman and his friends through the story you're about to hear. You may have to help them decide what direction in which to go. You may have to help them solve puzzles, or you may have to help them find their way out of dangerous situations. You will be told what the choices are, and then you decide which choice to make. Make sure you wait until after you hear the word now before pressing any of my buttons, and only press those buttons that are given to you in the choice. Where would you like to start this adventure? Press 1 for the Daily Planet City Room, 2 for the LexCorp Tower, or 3 for Metropolis General Hospital. Press 1, 2, or 3 now.
Let's go to the villain's hideout.
The LexCorp Tower dominates the skyline of Metropolis. It is estimated that 2/3 of its population works for LexCorp. And as the corporation dominates the city, its owner and chief executive officer, Lex Luthor, rules the company with an iron will. Right now, he is in his penthouse office with Sidney Happerson and Dr. Gretchen Kelly, the only two people at LexCorp who are privy to the majority of Lex Luthor's activities, both legal and illegal.
Is everything set for tonight's reception, Happerson?
Yes, Mr. Luthor. Both the mayor and the governor have accepted their invitations.
It's been made clear that we will be announcing the new leader of Team Luthor.
Yes, sir.
It would seem everything is going according to Luthor's plan.
Very good. That's bound to bring out Superman. Dr. Kelly, how is Themis doing?
I have personally overseen all of her training. She is in complete control of her powers.
I'm counting on that, Doctor. I must be sure that this city and its politicians continue to have faith in the team's ability to protect the city. Someday, Superman will fall, and we will be here to pick up the pieces. Where is Themis now?
She's flying over the city, looking for an opportunity to make her first public appearance. We have a helicopter following at a distance with a WLEX TV crew. As soon as she goes into action, it will be broadcast all over the world.
Excellent. I want to be sure that the people of this city have her fresh in their minds when I unveil Metropolis's newest hero.
It sounds like Lex Luthor is up to something. What would you like to do now? B, check in with Lois and Clark. Or C, find out who this Themis is. Please pick up your finger and press B or C now.
Let's check in with Lois and Clark. B.
The streets of Metropolis are already crowded with people heading home from work. Among the crowd are Lois Lane and Clark Kent on their way to dinner.
I'm sorry that you can't go with me as Clark Kent to Luthor's big reception, but I'm glad that you'll be there.
Well, Lois, it makes sense that Superman should take an interest in who's going to be named leader of Team Luthor.
Lois Lane can't help but remember when Superman was the only superpowered hero in Metropolis. Things were a lot less complicated when Superman was one of a kind.
I don't know how much I'll be able to learn since Luthor's had the walls lined with lead and sound baffles. But even if I can't use my X-ray vision or super hearing, I should be on hand to learn what I can.
Clark and Lois stop in front of Weisinger's Steakhouse to share a hug. Things have been complicated in their lives, but someday soon, they will have their wedding. It's a day they both look forward to. Their peaceful moment is shattered by the sound of a bus screeching out of control. People in front of the restaurant have to run out of its path as it speeds onto the sidewalk and crashes through the window of a department store. A man wearing a black stocking cap mask gets off the bus, waving a gun.
Somebody better call the cops. The people on this bus gonna die unless the city releases Black Onyx.
Black Onyx? Isn't that the terrorist that's on trial right now, Clark?
Clark is already beginning to loosen his tie, preparing to duck into a nearby alley and become Superman.
That's right, Lois. The city's been afraid that his followers might try something like this.
Clark is about to run away when the woman flies over the bus. She is wearing a suit of skin-tight body armor and a visored helmet. Over the armor, she wears a loose white tunic. She is carrying a sword and shield. She hovers over the terrorist.
I am Themis. If you do not wish to be hurt, then surrender to me now.
Themis? Who's Themis? What do you want to happen next, friend? Should 1, Clark stay here and work behind the scene to find out who this Themis is? Or 2, do you want Clark to change to Superman? Press 1 or 2 now.
2.
The terrorist quickly pulls the driver off the bus, using him as a shield between himself and the woman hovering overhead. Clark runs off to an alley, shedding his business suit, and as Superman quickly flies into action. He flies past the gunman, pulling the driver along with him.
Don't worry, sir. You're safe with me.
Themis, taking advantage of the distraction, points her sword at the terrorist and releases an energy bolt that knocks the masked man to the sidewalk, unconscious. Superman sets the driver on the sidewalk across the street, then flies to Themis' side.
I don't believe that I've had the pleasure.
I am pleased to meet you, Superman. I am Themis, but let's save the formal introductions for later.
Superman uses his X-ray vision to search the bus. There are 2 more masked men on the bus.
2 men with guns, 26 passengers. Any suggestions?
We need to find a way to disarm the gunmen before they hurt the passengers.
I can take care of that, if you can incapacitate them once I've done it. But we must give them a chance to surrender first.
Themis nods her agreement, and they fly beside the bus, looking in the open windows at the terrorists.
We are giving you 1 chance to surrender. Put down your guns and come off the bus.
Nobody gets off this bus alive unless our leader is released.
You had your chance.
Superman stares at the guns with fierce concentration, using his heat vision to make the metal too hot to handle. Within seconds, the masked men drop the weapons with yelps of pain. Themis quickly goes into the bus and grabs the men, pulling them off by the backs of their shirts. Meanwhile, Superman retrieves the fallen terrorist as sirens approach.
Let this be a message to all the criminals who would make the streets of Metropolis unsafe for its citizens. Themis and Team Luthor will be here to protect this city from anybody who would dare threaten it.
The Special Crimes Unit of the Metropolis Police Department arrives, and the 3 terrorists are turned over to Captain Maggie Sawyer. There's much more about Themis' origin that Superman wants to ask, But she flies away as Superman answers Captain Sawyer's questions.
As the police take over, let's jump ahead a couple of hours and go to LexCorp Tower. What would you like to do there? A. Meet up with 2 important members of our cast, or C. Eavesdrop in Lex Luthor's office to find out his reaction to Themis' debut. Select A or C now.
Hey, let's meet some people.
A crowd of people is standing in front of the security desk near the elevators of LexCorp Tower when Daniel Roth and Latasha Johnson enter the lobby.
Wow, Daniel, what are all these people doing here?
I don't know, Latasha. I guess Lex Luthor is having some sort of party. Daniel and Latasha wait in line, recognizing some of the people being signed in at the desk. They see Lois Lane, reporter for the Daily Planet, the mayor of Metropolis, and the governor of the state. The women are all dressed in long evening gowns and the men in tuxedos. Having come here from school, Daniel and Latasha look completely out of place in their jeans, sneakers, and t-shirts. The security guard at the desk immediately recognizes Daniel when he reaches the head of the line.
Hello, Danny.
Hi, Officer Swan. Is my mother still here? Officer Swan types the name Anna Roth into the computer and checks the monitor.
No, she hasn't signed out for the day. You want me to tell her you're on the way up?
No, thanks, Officer Swan. We want to surprise her.
Okay, Danny. Say, how's your father?
Officer Swan knows that Daniel's father, Jerry Roth, was severely beaten shortly after their family moved to Metropolis. Jerry has spent the past 2 years in a coma at Metropolis General Hospital. We just came from seeing him at the hospital. There hasn't been any change. I don't think there ever will be.
Tough break, kid. Pity that Superman wasn't around that night, huh?
Guess my family isn't important enough for superheroes to notice. Having signed in, Daniel and Latasha get into the elevator and descend to the 37th floor, where Anna works as an assistant in one of the LexCorp's research labs. Unfortunately, she is not at her workstation. Curious about what the crowd is gathered for, Daniel and Latasha decide to follow the formally clad people to the 95th floor. They sneak into the ballroom just as the lights dim, and Lex Luthor takes his place at the podium at the head of the room.
Oh,
Well,
my.
before we get to Lex Luthor's big speech, I think this would be a good time to remind you that this story is taking place before Maggie Sawyer was promoted to Inspector, before Superman was killed in battle with Doomsday, and before Lex Luthor staged his own death and was resurrected as Lex Luthor Jr. Let's find out how much you know about the original Lex Luthor. Before we begin your pop quiz, I am going to give you a password. Write it down because you will need to remember this password later. Your password is tomatoes. Yes, remember tomatoes. I will ask you for this password later.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
well, here is your pop quiz. It is called a pop quiz because I am popping it on you.
You
Okay,
definitely
here's
are.
question 1. Lex Luthor was a brilliant engineer and businessman. How old was Lex when he designed his suborbital aircraft, the X-Wing? Here are 3 choices. 1, 21 years old. 2, 25 years old. Or 3, 29 years old. Press 1, 2, or 3
Oh,
now.
no. I don't know. Oh, no. I don't know enough about this comic. I'll say 2, 25.
I'm sorry, this is not the right answer. Maybe you'll get this next question right. Question 2. Superman knew that Lex Luthor was involved in illegal activities but could not prove it. But Lex decided he must find a way to keep the Man of Steel at bay. One way he found was to wear a signet ring made from a piece of what radioactive material? Was it 1, linoleum, or 4, kryptonite? Please press 1 or 4 now.
I hope linoleum isn't radioactive. There's a lot of it in our kitchen and bathroom.
This is absolutely the correct answer. Kryptonite radiation is deadly to Superman, sapping his powers and radically reducing his strength. However, given time and rest, its effects on Superman can be reversed once he is removed from close proximity to the kryptonite material. Interestingly, the kryptonite radiation that Lex Luthor absorbed from wearing the ring gave them a case of terminal kryptonite poisoning. That is why his right hand was replaced with a cybernetic prosthetic. Luthor launched several attacks against the Man of Steel, hoping to kill his hated rival before he died himself. Here is another question in your pop quiz. Lex Luthor is not the only villain who has used kryptonite against the Man of Steel. Who was the villain with the heart of kryptonite? 1. Metallo. 2. Hank Henshaw, the cyborg. Or 3. The Kryptonite Man. Select 1, 2, or 3 now.
Metallo? 1?
Nice button pushing.
Woo!
This is the right answer. Good work. Let me now tell you about Lex Luthor Sr.'s most ambitious scheme to destroy Superman. The plan involved Milton Fine, a circus mind reader who was possessed by a power-obsessed alien scientist called Vril Dox. While controlling Fine's body, Dox discovered that he could levitate objects, including himself. Fine fought Dox's possession, and their mental battles caused a tumor to develop in Fine's brain. Lex Luthor arranged for Fine to undergo an operation to remove the dangerous tissue. However, Luthor's plan was to replace the tumor with a bionic implant that would boost Fine's mental powers, hoping that he could then use Fine as a weapon against Superman. On one hand, Luthor's plan was a great success. Fine's telepathic and psychokinetic powers increased significantly, but it also wiped out the last vestiges of Milton Fine's mind. Vril Dox was now in complete control and completely ruthless. When Fine's body began to break down, Dox turned the tables on Luthor and used LexCorp resources to create a new bionic body for himself. Vril Dox is stronger than any human and has the ability to control the minds of other people. Vril Dox stopped using his own name as he evolved, adopting the name Milton Fine used for his circus act. What is the name of this villain who was created with the aid of Lex Luthor? This will be question 4 in your pop quiz. To repeat, what is the name of this villain who was created with the aid of Lex Luthor? Here are 2 choices. B. Hellgramite or C. Brainiac. Press B or C now.
I would guess Brainiac? Because of his mental...
Good work. You are right. Hold on while I check
Expansion?
a memory bank.
I don't
Do
know.
nothing. My memory bank is informing me how you did on the first question in this pop quiz, how you did on the second, how you did on the third, how you did on the fourth. Well, let me say this. Unfortunately, you did not get all of these questions right. And therefore, the next time you play this program, try even harder. And maybe then you can answer all 4 of these pop quiz questions correctly. Let's now get back to our story. Do you think that Themis is yet another one of Luthor's plots to kill Superman? To find out, we'll have to return to the LexCorp ballroom. And to do that, you'll have to remember your code word that I asked you to remember before. If your code word is onions, press 1. Tomatoes, press 2. Bananas, press 3. Or porcupine, press 4. Press one of those buttons now.
Tomatoes! Button 2.
People of Metropolis and the world, I give you Themis.
The founder of LexCorp steps to one side, and Themis steps through the curtains behind him. There's applause in the room as the guests see Themis. Her armor shines in the light. Natasha is thrilled, but her friend Daniel is not impressed.
What's the big deal? She's not gonna be around when people really need her.
Daniel, how do you know that?
Weren't no superheroes around when my dad needed them, Latasha.
Even Superman can't be everywhere.
Many of you saw Themis in action on WLEX this afternoon as she aided in the apprehension of some Black Onyx terrorists. From this day on, Themis will be patrolling the streets of Metropolis with Team Luthor, tackling the jobs that our esteemed police department can't handle.
There is discomfort in the audience as the mayor and members of the city council begin to feel the pressure. If they don't accept Luthor's seeming generosity, the people of Metropolis will demand to know why. Lois Lane, concerned by Luthor's grandstanding, makes her way to Superman's side.
What do you think he's up to, Superman?
He's trying to force the city's hand to accept Team Luthor as an officially recognized peacekeeping force.
Why do I get the feeling that we're in for trouble tonight?
Luthor glances to his right and nods imperceptibly at Sidney Happerson. Happerson reaches into his pocket and presses a button on the remote control hidden there. Meanwhile, Luthor gestures expansively at his audience.
Like all members of Team Luthor, Themis is outfitted in armor, utilizing the latest in technology. She also carries a sword and shield, both of which have defensive and offensive capabilities. Beyond that, Themis also has some astonishing superpowers. I pity the villain who causes her to take off her gloves and unleash her true power. I'm sure all of you have questions you're dying to ask me and Themis, so this is your opportunity to get a chance to meet your new protector.
Luthor is interrupted by a loud crash. A 10-foot-tall robot smashes through the plate glass window and lifts Berkowitz up by the front of his suit.
People of Metropolis, your mayor will not be hurt as long as our demands are met. The city will immediately release Black Onyx and arrange for his safe transport out of this country. Otherwise, lives will be lost tonight.
It looks like Lex Luthor had something dramatic up his sleeve. With all the chaos and confusion, I can't tell who in the audience went into action first. I don't think you can tell either. You'll have to guess who went into action first. Here are some choices. A. Captain Maggie Sawyer of the Special Crimes Unit. B. Themis. Or C. Superman. Press A, B, or C now.
Themis.
Even before the glass shattered, Luthor and Happerson had ducked behind the podium, leaving Themis to protect them. Themis draws her power sword as the robot grabs Mayor Berkowitz and makes its demands. Leaving her shield slung behind her back, Themis moves forward cautiously. Her video cameras scan the robot, relaying information to the monitor that makes up her visor. She does not see any immediate weak point. However, her scan reveals that the thing is not really a robot, but a man in a power suit. She tries to reason with him.
You have made a major mistake, thinking that you can invade LexCorp Tower. Lex Luthor employs the best security force in the world. Release the mayor now, and no one will be hurt.
You can't stop me. What I do is right, decreed by the will of his people. Black Onyx must be freed. None will be permitted to stand in the way of our mission.
The man raises his free arm, and then fires a laser beam from a cannon on his forearm. The blast knocks Themis into the wall.
Let that be a lesson to any who would disobey the will of Black Onyx. Black Onyx must be freed.
Watching from the other side of the room, behind the cover of the podium, Lex Luthor is not pleased. He turns to his employee, Happerson.
What is she doing, Happerson? I thought she was prepared to handle emergencies.
She's only been in the field once, Mr. L. Give her a chance. She'll be fine.
Luthor grumbles, pulling a small electronic signaling device from his pocket.
Maybe I should call in Team Luthor to back her up.
She can handle it, Mr. L. I oversaw her training. Trust me.
What's Luthor going to do, friend? Is he A, going to call in reinforcements, or C, give Themis a chance to prove herself? Press A or C now.
Sorry about the interference. I must be getting a message on Messenger or something.
Not wanting to see Themis' first public appearance upstaged, Luthor drops the signaling device back into his pocket. Meanwhile, Themis and Superman study the robot carefully, trying to figure the best way to free the mayor and disable the behemoth.
What do you think we should do, Superman?
We have to be careful, Themis. There's someone inside that suit. We don't want to harm him or the mayor. I think I have a plan.
Superman whispers his plan to Themis, and they launch into action. Superman flies past the terrorist, grabbing onto the mayor. Berkowitz's suit is torn, but he is free of the robot. Themis then makes her move. She flies into the back of the terrorist, lifting him off the ground. She continues flying forward, crashing through a plate glass window until she and her quarry are outside the tower. The terrorist begins to struggle with her, but the fight doesn't go far. For Superman arrives and rips the power cords off the battery pack, rendering the battlesuit immobile. Themis stares at the terrorist she keeps aloft.
What do we do with him now?
We take the man to the police and turn the battlesuit over to the Special Crimes Unit for study.
Inside the tower, Luthor emerges from behind the podium, trying to quiet the panic.
People, the excitement is over. Themis, with the assistance of Superman, have neutralized the threat. But it is because our city is subject to such villainy that it needs Themis. I hope you will welcome her to Metropolis, and that our city father will see to it that she is allowed to serve the citizens unhindered.
Luthor pauses long enough to enjoy the applause. Happerson, who has been in constant contact with Themis by way of a mini receiver, leans toward his boss and whispers in his ear. Luthor returns to the microphone.
I have just received word the security doors that locked during the attack have all been opened, and that Themis and Superman are taking what's left of the robot to the police department. Considering the amount of damage the tower and the ballroom have sustained, I think it would be wise to wrap this up for the night. Thank you all for coming, and good night.
The party guests recover from their shock and begin to file out the door, including the uninvited guests, Daniel Roth and Latasha Johnson.
Wow, Daniel, that was really exciting. Themis and Superman are way cool.
Too bad they weren't around when my father needed them.
You gotta get past that, pal. Maybe the thing to do is be a cop like my brother or something. You can't change the world by complaining that you don't get any breaks.
What makes you think the world's worth saving, Latasha? Let's get back down to the 37th floor. I didn't see my ma up here. Maybe she's back from dinner. Daniel and Latasha get into the elevator and head down to the 37th floor, where the research and development laboratories are. Meanwhile, in the ballroom, Luthor and Happerson watch the guests filing out the doors. A small alarm goes off in Luthor's pocket. He takes out the signaling device and looks at his tiny screen.
Happerson, there's an intruder in research and development. Get Team Luthor and go down there immediately. But do not alarm the guests. I'm going up to my office. You can report to me there.
It sounds to me like something is going on in the LexCorp tower. Where do you want to go from here, friend? Press 1 to go with Lex Luthor to his office. Or press 4 if you want to go with Dr. Happerson and Team Luthor to the Research and Development Labs. Press 1 or 4 now.
4. Who wants to stay in Lex Luthor's office? Not me.
As Luthor makes excuses to his guests, Happerson and the Team Luthor operatives quietly slip out of the ballroom. They take the express elevator to the 37th floor, and Happerson uses the time to check with Security Officer Swan about who hasn't signed out for the day. His records show that Dr. Plastino and his assistant Anna Roth are still in the building. When the doors open, all they see is an empty hallway. They slowly walk out of the elevator, everybody straining to find a sign of the intruders. It is the team leader who makes the first report.
Initial scans reveal 2 humanoids in Lab 8, Dr. Happerson.
That's Dr. Plastino's lab.
Team leader, I'm getting a reading from Lab 12.
What kind of reading, Burnley?
It's not like anything I've seen before. There's something in there, and it's not human.
Do you think Burnley has found the intruders? What do you want to explore, friend? 1, the humanoids in Lab 8, or 2, whatever is waiting in Lab 12. Press 1 or 2 now.
Sorry guys, 1.
Happerson already knows about the unidentified presence in Lab 12. That is part of Luthor's plan to kill Superman, using Themis, a plan that the members of Team Luthor do not need to know about. However, the strangers in Lab 8 may be a threat to Luthor's plans.
We must investigate the intruders in Lab 8. Swan at the front desk said that Dr. Plastino and his assistant are in the dining room. Their lab should be empty.
The 3 Team Luthor members lead the way down the hall, Happerson following at a safe distance. They come to the door and freeze while the team leader gives his orders.
2 intruders. They might be more of Black Onyx's followers. Proceed with caution and assume they are armed and dangerous. Do not kill unless absolutely necessary.
Team member Burnley breaks down the door, and the 3 armor-clad men burst into the room. What they find are 2 students, Daniel Roth and Latasha Johnson.
Freeze!
It's hard for Daniel and Latasha to freeze when they're jumping out of their skins in fright. but they both raise their hands to show they're no threat. Happerson, seeing that there is no immediate danger, enters the lab.
I am Dr. Happerson. Who are you and what are you doing in here?
Latasha is the first to recover from the fright, but she does not dare lower her hands when she speaks.
I'm Latasha Johnson, and this is my friend Daniel Roth. We're here to see Daniel's mother.
That's right. We weren't doing anything wrong. My mother is Dr. Plastino's assistant. We're here to see her. We checked in at the front desk. Happerson quickly consults by radio with Officer Swan and finds out that Daniel and Latasha are telling the truth. He orders Team Luthor to lower their weapons. As they do so, the kids lower their hands.
The sensors picked up intruders. With all the talk of Black Onyx and his followers causing trouble, we believe that someone has sneaked into the tower. You kids wait here, but you are not to go beyond this point. Is that understood?
Latasha nods her head quickly.
Yes, sir.
Happerson and Team Luthor quickly leave the lab. Daniel resents their treatment. My mother always lets me come and go as I please. The doctors all know me. They don't care what I do. I think they're hiding something. Why don't we take a look?
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Hey, what are they gonna do to us? My ma's boss will cover for us. After his encounter with Daniel Roth and Latasha Johnson in the lab on the 37th floor, Dr. Happerson returns to Lex Luthor's office to make his report. When he arrives, he finds Dr. Kelly with Luthor. Luthor is not pleased to hear about the kids in the lab, but before he can berate Happerson, Dr. Kelly steps in.
Lex, we just got a report that Superman and Themis have left the police station. They should be here any second.
Maybe these kids will help us after all. We all know how Superman feels about the lives of the innocent. They'll certainly pull him right into the middle of our trap. Are you sure that Themis will do what we need, Dr. Kelly?
There's no guarantee, but I'm sure that she will fall back on her training. The creature is more powerful than her armor or energy sword can handle.
Happerson recalls Dr. Kelly's reports about Themis. The woman had been working in one of LexCorp's solar power research labs in Wyoming when she was exposed to radiation in an accident. The exposure seemed to trigger a latent superpower in the woman's system that made her immune to radiation poisoning and allowed her to act as a battery of sorts. She was transferred to Metropolis so Dr. Kelly could study her directly. Kelly discovered that the woman could store the radiation as mass and later release it as energy. Luthor decided that she could be a powerful weapon and set about motivating the woman to want to be a weapon. Luthor arranged for her husband to meet with a vicious accident, and this helped the woman to agree to become Themis. Kelly's tests indicate that Themis should be able to release energy across the electromagnetic spectrum, but Luthor made sure she was conditioned to believe that she could use only the radiation she'd previously stored. Kelly, however, is uncomfortable with the implications of Luthor's plans.
We don't know how powerful her blast could be. What if she accidentally kills Superman during this test?
Then it will be, as you said, an accident. However, Themis will be ready to fill the gap left behind by Superman. But fear not, Dr. Kelly. It is not my intention to hurt Superman.
No, that is not Luthor's goal at all. It is his intention to kill Superman.
Happerson, get down to the ballroom right away. I want you to meet them there and set things in motion.
Well, I did say that Themis and Superman would arrive any second now, didn't I? Well, that second has come. But where do you want them to go first? Here are two choices. 1, the ballroom, or 3, Lex Luthor's office. Press 1 or 3 now.
Let's send them to the ballroom.
Superman and Themis take longer at the police station than either of them expected. But having answered all of Inspector Henderson's questions to the best of their abilities, they are allowed to return to the LexCorp tower. Night air is chilly, but the trip allows both to clear their heads. Superman thinks it's strange that there should be 2 Black Onyx attacks in less than a few hours, both while Themis was close at hand.
Don't you think it's odd that Black Onyx's followers attacked twice today, and you were present both times?
Henderson asked me the same thing. I just don't know what to make of it.
Superman uses his X-ray vision to look through Themis's visor, and the look on her face convinces him that she is telling the truth. If Black Onyx is connected to LexCorp, then she doesn't know anything about it. They arrive at the tower and fly into the ballroom through the broken window. The crowd has thinned, and Sydney Happerson is waiting for them.
It's about time you got back. There's another intruder in the tower. We got it isolated in Lab 12 on the 37th floor. The team's been sent on another mission, so you will have to deal with it, Themis.
Understood, Dr. Happerson. I'm on my way.
Superman finds it interesting that Luthor didn't call his security team to deal with the intruder. He is sure this is a setup, and he doesn't want Themis to face it alone.
I'm coming with you, Themis.
Luthor smiles inwardly. Superman has taken the bait.
What is Luthor's plan? It sounds like Superman and Themis might be in for trouble. How do you think they should proceed to Lab 12? Should they A, take the elevator, or C, try to sneak into the lab from the outside of the building? Press A or C now.
C.
The elevator might attract attention. I think taking a less direct route might help us with the element of surprise, and would also give us an opportunity to scope out the situation first.
Superman and Themis use the broken window in the ballroom as their exit point, and they glide down to the 37th floor. Themis uses her computer interface to locate the lab. She and Superman hover several feet above the floor, hoping they won't be seen through the windows. Neither Themis's video camera or Superman's heightened vision reveal anything in the laboratory. Themis uses her scanners on the surroundings.
The reports are right about the intruders. There are 2 humanoids in that room and a large mass that I do not recognize.
My X-ray vision doesn't work through the lead-lined walls. Can you tell if the humanoids are armed?
It would not appear that way. Security computers show that there isn't anybody signed into the room. It is supposed to be empty, and access is limited to authorized personnel. We have 2 immediate options.
She points to a metal grate between rows of glass.
We could take the ventilation shaft. It provides fresh air for the floor. It would take us to the lab without being seen, although we might be heard. Or else we could take the direct route. We break in and count on their surprise to give us time to act.
What do you think, friend? Should they 1, take the direct route, or 3, use the ventilation shaft? Please press 1 or 3 now.
3. Why not?
Themis removes the grate from the ventilation shaft, and she and Superman make their way through the steel duct. The vent into the labs opens wide enough so they both can see the creature inside the room. It stands 8 feet tall, its skin covered with blue-green scales. It has 2 leathery wings on its back. Its 4 legs end in massive claws with 6-inch long talons. Resting at the end of its snake-like neck is its head, with glowing red eyes, 3 horns, and long yellow teeth. It bellows, having heard the intruders in the shaft. It swings its tail at the wall, knocking a huge hole into it and sending both Superman and Themis across the room. Both growl and advances on its unwanted guests. Superman is the first to recover. His cape is torn, and there's a trickle of blood on his forehead. He prepares to attack the beast, only to be knocked down again. This gives Themis time to stand up and fire a blast from her power sword. The creature shakes its effects off easily and grabs her in its razor-sharp jaws. Superman flies toward the beast, delivering a great blow to its back. The creature howls in pain, dropping Themis. The monster's neck swings around, and this time it claps Superman between its jaws. It is at this point that Daniel Roth and Latasha Johnson emerge from the broom closet, where they had hidden from the beast. They watch as Themis removes her gloves, preparing to use her secret superpower, unaware that it is deadly to Superman.
So did A, the sudden appearance of Daniel and Latasha, surprise Themis to the point where she didn't use her secret powers. Or
Hold on. Ugh. This. Okay.
surprise Themis to the point where she didn't use her secret powers. Was Themis so caught up in the heat of the battle that she didn't see the 2 kids and used her secret superpower? Please select A or C now.
I have no idea what this noise is. It's driving me crazy. Ugh. C.
Themis does not see the kids enter the lab. She takes aim at the monster and lets loose with a green bolt of radioactive...
Wait a minute. Wait.
Now,
I made a mistake.
idea what she's up against. Please pick for power. Please select A or C now.
What?
So caught up in the heat of the battle that she didn't see the two kids and used her secret superpower. Please select A or C now.
My bad. A. Oh good, the noise went away.
The sudden appearance of the two children surprises Themis, and she momentarily lowers her hands. The creature takes advantage of the distraction and lashes out with its mighty foreleg, its talons ripping through the armor mesh on Themis's right arm. The force of the blow breaks her visor and sends her crashing through the window. Superman breaks free of the monster's jaws and flies toward Daniel and Latasha, picking them both up and carrying them out of the lab through the broken window. The monster begins to flap its wings and takes chase. Superman sends Daniel and Latasha on the roof of the LexCorp tower as the creature flies by, breathing fire. Man of Steel is able to use his body as a shield to protect the two students, and then flies after the behemoth.
And you said that superheroes are never around when you need them, Daniel.
Daniel's jaw drops in amazement as he watches the last son of Krypton fly after the creature. Although it is hard to make out details against the night sky, the moon is full and bright. Daniel and Latasha watch in wonder as Superman takes the beast by its tail and begins swinging it around. But the beast is strong, and soon it is swinging Superman through the cold night air. Just when it looks like the creature is about to shake the Man of Steel loose, Themis reappears, flying to his aid. Taking hold of the monster's tail right next to Superman, the two of them are able to take control of the beast and carry it toward West River. With their combined strength, they are able to throw it into the water as they hear sirens approaching. The creature rises from the cold water, breathing fire at Superman. The force of the blast sends Superman flying backward, allowing Themis the time to act. Her armor withstands the heat, and she swoops down toward the monster. Not having had the time to put her gloves back on, she points at the beast and lets loose with a green ray of radioactive force. The monster is stunned, and Superman rushes in to deliver a blow to the back of its head that knocks the beast out. Convinced that it will be incapacitated until the Special Crimes Unit arrives, Superman joins Themis hovering over the river. Her visor is broken, and there is a little blood on her right arm.
You did a good job. Are you all right?
I'll be okay, Superman. Thanks.
Once they've helped the Special Crimes Unit deal with the creature, Superman realizes that he has left the students on the roof of the tower. He and Themis fly back there to be greeted by a grateful Daniel Roth and Latasha Johnson. In the heat of the excitement, Themis forgets that her visor is broken and that her face can be seen.
Oh
It's
no.
not until she sees Daniel's reaction that she realizes what she has done.
Ma?
That's right, Daniel. I am Themis.
Inside his office, Lex Luthor watches the tearful reunion on his television set, his WLEX cameras having telecast the whole fight to him. He throws the remote control across the room, barely missing Sidney Happerson.
Blast! She's useless to me now. Superman knows who she is. How can I use her as a weapon against him? I want her fired tomorrow. I never want to see her again.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that was pretty exciting. Superman and Themis defeated the monster, and you even found out that Themis is Daniel Roth's mother, Anna. But what would have happened if the two kids hadn't distracted Themis in the nick of time? Would she have used her superpower at the wrong moment and accidentally hurt Superman? And what of the other villain hiding somewhere in the tower? That's what I mean when I said that life is full of possibilities. Remember I said that at the beginning of this program. To find out what might have happened with the new hero in town, rewind the tape and play this adventure again, making sure to play different options, pushing different buttons. Until then, congratulations to you on a job very, very well done. Okay, please rewind this tape.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I mean, that program. I'm sorry about all the noise. Evidently there's some electronic interference coming from something in this room. But there are so many robots and signals and whatever, till I don't know where it could have come from. But anyways, I hope all of you enjoyed this video. As usual, like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell so you will know whenever I upload new content. God bless, and I will see you in the next video. Ow.